A 180-pound Caucasian Shepherd Bruno refuses to leave a 1-year-old boy's side. Not for a meal, not for a nap, not even for 5 seconds. When this family first brought their baby home, everyone said the exact same thing. That dog is too big. Get rid of him before the child gets hurt. A 180-pound guardian breed sharing a house with a toddler? The neighbors called it a disaster waiting to happen. 39 different people told them to rehome him. 39. And then, on a freezing January night in Massachusetts, the dog everyone wanted gone did the one thing no human in that house was fast enough to do. This is the story of how the most doubted dog on the whole street became the only reason a little boy is still alive. Adam and Rachel Coleman lived in a 4-bedroom colonial in Wellesley, Massachusetts, on a long tree-lined street off Cliff Road. Adam was 37 and traveled for work almost every week, gone by Monday and home late Thursday. Rachel was 34, a pediatric nurse who had wanted a dog her entire life. They brought Bruno home as a clumsy 11-week-old puppy, a Caucasian Shepherd with a fawn coat, a black mask, and paws 2 sizes too big for him. Back then, he weighed 14 pounds and tripped over his own ears. By the time he turned 2, he weighed 180. He filled doorways and blocked the light at the window, and he was, by every measure, the gentlest creature either of them had ever known. Then Rachel got pregnant, and everything changed. Not with Bruno, with everyone else. Her mother called first. "You cannot keep a dog that size around a newborn," she said. Her sister mailed articles with the frightening parts highlighted in yellow. A neighbor named Sharon, who had never spoken to them kindly, suddenly had opinions about those kinds of breeds. Even the pediatrician raised an eyebrow. The pressure built for 9 straight months. But Rachel had watched Bruno sleep outside the empty nursery weeks before there was ever a baby in it, and she made her decision. Bruno stays. I see you're still here but haven't subscribed yet. After what Bruno is about to do for this little boy, you'll want to be part of it. Tap subscribe. It means more than you know. They brought Owen home on a gray morning in late February. Adam carried the car seat inside, heart pounding, not because of the baby, but because of the dog. Bruno walked over slowly. He did not jump, he did not bark. He lowered his enormous head until his nose was barely an inch from the blanket, breathed in once, and then did something that made Rachel cry on the spot. He lay down on the floor beside that car seat and let out a long, slow sigh. The sigh of a creature handed a job he fully intended to keep for the rest of his life. From that morning forward, Bruno had exactly one purpose, and his name was Owen. Where the baby went, he went. 180 pounds of dog padding behind her. When Owen napped, Bruno lay across the nursery doorway like a fawn-colored boulder. When Owen cried at 2 a.m., Bruno was at the crib before Rachel's feet had hit the cold floor. He did not just follow the baby, he orbited him. And here is what nobody tells you about a dog this devoted. He invents rules, and the whole family simply has to learn them. Rule 1. Owen did not eat alone, ever. Bruno sat beside that high chair at every meal, catching dropped crackers out of the air, and Rachel more or less stopped sweeping the floor. Rule 2. The mail was Bruno's mortal enemy. Every afternoon, the letters dropped through the slot in the front door, and every afternoon Bruno pounced, gathered them without bending one envelope, and carried the stack to Rachel like a hunter with a prize. Rule 3, and this one made Adam laugh until he wheezed, the fur was a weather system all its own. Bruno shed in slow, drifting clouds, close to 60 pounds of it a year, and Rachel ran the vacuum twice a day and still found tumbleweeds of fawn fluff in the hall. The months passed, and Owen grew from a tiny bundle into a giggling, unsteady little person with his father's stubborn chin and 2 fistfuls of his dog's thick coat in each hand. He learned to walk by holding on to Bruno's fur, taking wobbling steps across the room while the dog moved at a slow, deliberate crawl just to keep him upright. Owen's first clear word was not mama, it was not dada, it was boo, his toddler version of Bruno, shouted with pure delight every single morning the second he laid eyes on him. But outside that house, the doubt never went away. On walks, parents scooped up their children the moment they saw Bruno round the corner. Sharon still crossed to the other side of the street. A woman at the park once asked Rachel to her face if she was insane for letting that animal near her son. Rachel just smiled and kept walking because she knew something all of them did not. She knew that the single safest place in all of Wellesley was the 18 inches of floor directly beneath that dog's chin.
There was the night Owen spiked a fever of 103, and Bruno would not stop nosing at his cheek and whining low until Rachel woke and realized her son was burning up. There was the afternoon a coyote slipped through the tree line, and Bruno simply walked between it and the baby. No teeth, no snarl, just a wall of muscle and fur the coyote took one look at and chose not to test. Then came the third week of January. Adam was 900 miles away, stuck overnight in a storm of his own. A cold front had dropped Wellesley to 7 degrees after dark, with a wind chill below zero. A furniture crew had delivered a dresser that afternoon and propped the mudroom door open to carry it through, and in the cold, the latch never fully caught. Rachel did not know that. At 6:15, with the sky already black, she set Owen down on the living room rug beside Bruno, put a pot on the stove, and stepped into the pantry for a jar of sauce. She was gone maybe 3 minutes. 3 minutes. When she came back, the rug was empty. The mudroom doors stood open 6 inches to the freezing dark, a thin skin of snow already blowing across the tile. Owen was gone, and so was Bruno. Rachel screamed her son's name into a house that did not answer. She ran to the open door in her socks, out onto the back steps, and the cold hit her like a wall. The yard was a sheet of snow under a half moon, and for one endless second, she saw nothing. Then, at the far edge of the yard, she saw a low, round, fawn-colored shape in the snow that did not belong there. She ran, fell once, got up, and when she reached it, her knees went out from under her. Bruno was curled into a tight, perfect circle, his enormous body wrapped completely around something small, his back to the wind, his thick coat spread over them both like a living blanket. And tucked inside that circle, pressed into the warm fur of the dog's belly, was Owen, cold, wide-eyed, crying weakly, but breathing, alive. The same dog the whole street had wanted gone, the same dog 39 people had begged them to rehome.
The same 180-pound giant every one of them had sworn was a danger to that baby, wrapped around her son in a snowbank, spending his own body heat to keep the boy from freezing. Bruno had followed Owen out the second he wandered through the door, and when the baby sat down in the snow and could not get up, the dog had done the only thing he knew how to do. He had covered the child with himself and refused to move. Not for a meal, not for a nap, not even for 5 seconds. Rachel scooped Owen against her chest, and Bruno rose and pressed his frozen body against her legs, herding her back across the snow to the house. She got Owen warm, she called the pediatric line she knew by heart, and did every single thing she would have told a frightened parent. As a nurse, Rachel knew the numbers better than almost anyone. A toddler that size, dressed for indoors in 7 degrees with that wind, has only minutes before the cold stops being dangerous and turns fatal. Minutes. And she knows with a certainty she will carry for life that if Bruno had stayed on that warm rug, if he had let the baby wander into the dark alone, that January night would have ended in the worst way a story can end. Instead, it ended with a soaking Caucasian Shepherd getting a warm bed by the radiator and a steak he did not have to share. And a little boy who will never remember how close he came. Word spread down the street the way news like that always does. The woman from the park who had called Rachel insane left a card in the mailbox. Sharon, the neighbor who had crossed the street for 2 whole years, knocked on the front door, looked down at Bruno a long moment, and said quietly, "I was wrong about him." Bruno accepted a single scratch from the woman, then turned right back around to find Owen. Adam came home 2 days later, walked past his own wife, got down on the floor, buried his face in the fur of a dog he had once defended to 39 people, and cried. Today, Bruno is 4 years old, and Owen is 2. The boy still climbs the big stairs with one small hand wrapped in the dog's coat. Bruno still sleeps stretched across the bedroom doorway every single night, and every time that mudroom door so much as clicks, 180 pounds of Caucasian Shepherd materializes beside it and parks himself there until he hears the latch catch. He learned that lesson once, and he has no intention of ever learning it twice. He still loses a war with the mail every afternoon. He still sheds enough to build a second dog, and the 39 people who swore they should get rid of him have all gone very quiet, because here is the simple truth every one of them missed. A dog is not dangerous because of his size or his breed or the great heavy weight of his coat. What makes a dog is who he decides to love and exactly what he is willing to do to keep them safe.
Bruno decided on the very first morning that a tiny human wrapped in a blanket was his to protect, and not once, not ever, did he change his mind. If you are thinking about bringing a big, powerful dog into a home with little ones, please do not listen to the fear. Learn the breed, train with patience, supervise with love, and understand that the right dog raised the right way is not a danger to your child. Sometimes he is the guardian angel you never knew you needed, wearing a coat everyone told you was too much. So let me ask you honestly, would you have trusted a 180-pound Caucasian Shepherd alone with your baby, or would you have listened to those 39 people and let him go? Tell me in the comments.